All right, we pause our sports bulletin for this breaking news right now. Any moment now, the critical bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and U.S. President Donald Trump will begin. Moments before it, U.S. Envoy to India, Sergia tells WION he's looking forward to the bilateral between the two leaders. In fact, just moments ago at a working lunch, U.S. President praised the Indian Prime Minister, calling him calm, cool, and a total killer. Listen in.
Any hopes of the bilateral meeting?
We're very much looking forward to it, and the president will be there in about half an hour. Always happy to see the Prime Minister. Thank you all.
How's the mood?
I'll talk to you guys.
All right, that was Sergio Gore, the U.S. ambassador to India, and he, just moments before, he said that U.S. President Donald Trump praised the Indian Prime Minister, calling him calm, cool, and a total killer. Now, this comes moments before a bilateral meeting between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and U.S. President Donald Trump. And for more on this, our assistant editor of Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibal, is joining us on the broadcast from Évian-les-Bains in France. Now, Siddhant, what is the mood on the ground? What are you picking up?
Well, yes, Vidur, I'm just standing in front of the bilateral room. This is the place where the bilateral meeting is going to happen in a few minutes' time. We're waiting just outside the location, and while we were coming to this location, we met the U.S. ambassador. In response to WION question, he said, we're looking forward to this meeting. But these are few informal moments that you obviously remember once the meeting is over. But clearly, behind this door, the bilateral will start, and we'll go inside. We are among the very few channels on ground which have the access. In fact, the only way to go through is to get an access card, which very few channels have got. But essentially, this meeting is something that is being closely watched across the world. It's after 16 months that both the leaders are going to have an in-person meeting. There were several occasions yesterday where both the leaders had conversations. Clearly, the big issue will be the trade conversations as to how to take forward the trade conversations. But also, there are irritants in the relationship. We know that 3 Indian sailors were killed. And that has angered many Indians. There have been comments also in the past by the Trump administration, which are seen strongly racist comments. And there are other irritants as well. And we have seen a kind of pivot away from the Indo-Pacific earlier today. The Indo-PACOM was dropped by the U.S. military, by the Pentagon. So clearly, a lot of issues, a lot of focus on finding convergences, but trying to reduce the divergences, and we'll get to know once we get inside this very room where the big bilateral meeting is going to take place between the two leaders of the two top democracies, meeting for the first time for a sit-down bilateral in 16 months. A lot has happened in 16 months in terms of geopolitical tensions. There's conflict in West Asia that has hugely impacted India, especially in terms of the inflationary impact, and that is a cause of concern for New Delhi. In fact, this week is a big week here in Europe, not only in terms of the G7, but also in terms of the upcoming signing of the peace agreement between the Iranians and the Americans, the MOU that will be signed.
Right. Siddhant, you mentioned that there are several irritants between the relationship between India and US, but we've also seen in the past that Prime Minister Modi and US President Donald Trump have somewhat of a personal relationship that we've seen in the present G7 summit as well. How do you think that will come into the play during this bilateral meeting?
Well, both the leaders have time and again said that they see each other as friends, and the visible warmth is there, but many would say it is still relatively less than what we saw in Trump term 1. In Trump term 2, we have seen a nosediving in the relationship, and that many say is not good for the relationship. It looks like the gains of 20 years are falling apart. But today's meeting, the meeting that will happen behind me in this very room, is the most consequential meeting in the relationship in 16 months. This meeting essentially decides the direction of the relationship as to the political call when it comes to key areas, especially when it comes to trade. Officials have told WION that only last mile is remaining when it comes to trade agreement, and hopefully that will be resolved very soon. We'll have a trade deal very soon.
Right, Siddhant. Thank you so much for those updates right from the G7 summit in Évian-les-Bains in France. We'll, of course, continue coming to you for that big bilateral meeting. Thanks for now.